we got to get into topic number 2. And this one is very, very interesting. Now, Starfield, regardless of what IGN and the rest of the biased media will tell you, is a phenomenal experience. It is one of the tips of spear games for Bethesda. It is a game that Todd Howard himself worked on for over 20 years to get off the ground and released. Well, interestingly enough, this story opens up with the former creator of PlayStation, David Jaffe, ladies and gentlemen, who again, listen, I appreciate what he's done for the industry more times than not. I don't agree with a lot of his takes. He's very coarse. The way he likes to curse and stuff. Not my way of podcasting, but we know that he is a Starfield fan. Like, so much so, he made news this particular week. And it goes on to say, and this was pulled from BGC, God of War creator David Jaffe has released a powerful statement on X claiming that Starfield could be the best narrative experience in the history of video games. And that is a powerful statement. Now, we know David Jaffe consistently talks up Starfield. That doesn't make him an Xbot. No, that makes him a dev who is a gamer, who appreciates a game, and he understands from the back end of things how these games are made, how you get a narrative beat into a big game, and how that can sometimes fall apart. Well, Fuzzy, I'm going to you first here because you're Mr. Starfield on any of the panel that you're on. And that's not the story that we're talking about. It's a part of the story. Now, again, this story, ladies and gentlemen, comes the way of WindowsCentral.com. It was written by Brendan Lowry. It was published 20 hours ago. And it says, Bethesda says Xbox's Starfield is about to have a big 2025 with new updates. Is the Starborn DLC that was leaked last year actually coming out? Now, I'm going to read verbatim from the article, so bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. It goes on to say this. It's been quite a while since the last time we've heard anything new about Bethesda Game Studios' 2023 space exploration RPG known as Starfield. But now the developer has finally given players of the Xbox and PC exclusive an update, and it sounds like some big things are happening later this year. Responding to a fan asking Bethesda to communicate its plans for further content releases, the studio took to social media to fill the community in. And this is what they have to say, and I quote, folks, "We know you're eager for an update. We truly appreciate your passion for Starfield. The team has been hard at work, and while we're not ready to share specific details just yet, we have a lot of exciting things planned for the game this year that we can't wait to talk about when the time is right." And in closing, they say, "We're always listening and taking your feedback to heart. Thanks for being a part of this journey with us." End quote. So again, no real specifics here, Fuzzy Belvedere, but I think it's enough to say, well, Starfield is going to have some big updates. What those updates are, you might know because, again, you are Mr. Starfield. I think it's safe to expect that every year this is going to have a new DLC in some form or fashion, right? We had the Shattered Space DLC, which a lot of people really did not like, and I don't understand what game they were playing. I very much liked it. And some of the side quests, specifically, no spoilers here, there was a side quest that you had to actively go and look for and speak to people about in an orphanage. And if you know what I'm talking about, look, folks, I'm getting goosebumps because I'm a nerd. There are two very, very distinctive ways to finish that mission. And it's so impactful that I finished it one way and I was like, this sucks. and I reloaded a save from 3 hours before. Said, I'm going to fix this. I'm going to make this right. And I went and did it the right way. And I'm like, holy shit, this was amazing. Shattered Space may not have been for everyone, but I'll tell you this, that opening, like when you get into that space station and it's just dead bodies everywhere, bro, it's something like out of Aliens. It was freaking amazing. And we could be getting something like that at the end of this year. And I would imagine every year afterwards, because Starfield ain't going away anytime soon. Let's get your thoughts and your theories, Fuzzy Belvedere, on what could be happening for Starfield in 2025.
There's just so much. Like, I know the modders out there are hard at work adding a lot of different things. Like, I'm kind of surprised there isn't a like lightsaber-esque kind of thing outside of modding, like within the game, even if it's like the what's the name of the group for Shattered Space?
The one with the snakes.
I can't remember the name right now, but I know they have like a pretty lethal knife as far as one of their weapons, but I'm surprised they don't have like a laser version of that. Or maybe I just haven't found it yet or something, but I could see them adding a larger variety of laser weapons, a larger variety of possibly laser cutting weapons and things along those lines. Maybe some more elemental weapons, which there's other ways of, having elemental damage where you can either have it rolled on a specific weapon, to be able to like freeze people and then set them on fire and stuff like that. So there's just so much that can still be added to that game. Like they made it so each playthrough can be its own unique experience, and adding the I guess what's going to be the Starborn DLC this go around. I'm wondering if it is going to be more of a, how should I say this? What kind of like a PvP potential situation where you have it where you can invade other people's games or something along those lines. I'm not necessarily looking forward to that aspect because I know the amount of chaos that would cause, but there's just so many different things. And the big update that I'm hoping at some point occurs would be co-op or something to that effect, where you can have your own armada of ships with your friends kind of thing. But outside of that, I totally expect them to continue expanding the story up until we get a Starfield 2 or we get a Starfield MMO, which at that point, do we need Star Citizen at that point? But I can see them going in so many directions, and possibly even much like what do you call it? Sea of Thieves did, have some collaborations, whether it's with Star Trek or Star Wars in general. I can see that being a potential. I mean, yes, there are mods out there that can effectively put that in place, but I can totally see something along those lines happening. And there's already been content where people have made kind of like an Aliens planet or Aliens ship that you stumble across kind of deal. So if you want to have that horror aspect, there are mods out there for that. But there's so much that the actual team can do. And when they do a lot of their, handcrafted stuff, whether it's the story or, particular worlds and things like that, I can't wait to see what they have. But as far as like people crapping on this game, like you can tell who just wants attention, like the IGNs of the world, when it comes to saying it's a 7 out of 10, and they'll tell you on social media like 12 times in a day that it's a 7
Actually,
out of 10.
It was 17. If we're being fair, it was 17 times by IGN letting you know that this game's a 7 on PC and on Xbox. It was so the point was driven so knife into the gut that they had to review it twice just to make it a stink score. F you, IGN. I'm sorry, I had to say that live on the air. That annoys me when you get that kind of shenanigans. I'm sorry.
Right. But the big thing is, if it was such a 7 out of 10 game, why did they put so much effort into having guides?
It made them money. That's why, because they made money off of the guides because of click ratio. Mm-hmm. This is what they do. And look, I don't want to go on an IGN tangent. You know my feelings towards them. And maybe me saying this publicly will get some doors closed for me. I don't care. I'm gonna be real about it. Okay, they are a terrible organization, and we know where they lie at night. Okay, we know who butters their bread, so to speak. It's PlayStation, and we know that there are certain people in charge that have terrible ideologies, and because they have power, they abuse that power by taking someone's review, and even if somebody liked it, putting a score that better suits their positioning. And I know that to be an absolute fact because I was told behind the scenes, and I'm not afraid to say that publicly. We know what you're doing, IGN, and you know what? It stinks. But please continue.
No, but this game has so much to it, so much depth, and maybe it rubbed people the wrong way. Maybe you can mention that it was game of the generation. I think it will be a game of generation, hindsight 2020 kind of thing, just for the fact that people will actually still be playing this 10 and 20 years down the road in comparison to a lot of other games that don't seem to last beyond 8 days, or ones that, come and go after a year or so. So I can see the potential of what Bethesda is looking to do with this title. You could just look at like what they've done with Fallout and what they did with Fallout 4, as far as how many different DLCs that they offered with that, and how well they've expanded on that universe with Fallout 76 and continue to support that. And now they kind of find themselves between a rock and a hard place with, releasing an Elder Scrolls 6 here soon, really having the audience for Fallout wanting another one, but yet, Starfield is still keeping a lot of their attention because a lot of the player base is still, asking for things or playing the game in fun and unique ways that maybe they haven't even thought of, as far as whether it's a Fallout planet or like a Elder Scrolls planet or something along those lines. But still, like I have, 5 playthroughs that I've played. 2 of them have like some breaks in the playthrough where I've pushed the envelope a bit. Like I have a Starborn one where I can't get enemies to get out of the ship. Maybe they're afraid because I have too many weapons that'll kill them pretty much instantly. But I somehow entered a Starborn ship before I was supposed to be Starborn, and while the Starborn were exiting, so that broke that playthrough. And then I have a playthrough that broke the floor at the main base. But all the other ones where I love the spy company or the stealth mission stuff. I know a lot of people didn't particularly care for it, but it comes in handy if you don't align yourself with the space pirates or the Crimson Fleet type of deal. I have a playthrough that's with the Crimson Fleet, and it seems like sometimes it breaks the tension that you would normally get, because it's like, oh, you land on this planet and you wind up having to fight the Crimson Fleet. But if you're part of the Crimson Fleet, they're like, man, as long as somebody's paying me, I'm good with everything. So you can do whatever, just short of shooting them. But even if you shoot them, it doesn't really, have them turn against you. Now, the bounty hunters are another thing where I've ruined Mars for just on my if people look at me funny and I shoot them instantly.
You admit publicly you've ruined an entire planet.
Ruined Mars.
Yeah, I ruined Mars because I have a playthrough where if somebody looked at me funny, I shot them. Like, I didn't care who they were. They could have been a main character or non-main character. It was like I was playing the psychopath. And Mars has it where the bounty hunters are right as soon as you enter that base. So it's like, as soon as I land, they're after me. But this game is so much fun. I don't even know how many hours I have, but between 2 accounts, 5 playthroughs, it's got to be somewhere in like the 14-day plus range or something along those lines.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, this game is awesome. I'm looking forward to what other things they add. Like that rover definitely comes in handy. Yep. Trying to do trick flips and trick shots and stuff like that on low gravity planets has been real fun. It's an awesome game that I encourage everybody to try, especially if you played it a little bit and haven't played it since around launch. Definitely come back to it. There's a lot more stuff as far as the adjustability. If you want it where you can get better heals from the food you eat, because it felt like in the beginning, if you ate an apple, you weren't really healing yourself, but at least you get some of your health.
Like a pinch up, like boop, like what am I supposed to do with that? Eat 50 apples?
But it's definitely they've definitely improved a lot of quality of life things, a lot of playability things, and they've had it where if you're willing to go through the punishment and want to make it almost like a Souls-like, you can make it where it's very punishing on the damage you take and very little damage that you're outputting and stuff like that. So it's an awesome game. But yeah, these updates, I expect that we'll see probably for the next 5 to 10 years, updates, expansions, new things from the modding community as well as Bethesda Direct. But yeah, I love that game.
Yeah, me too. You know, I'm going to say this. I'm almost embarrassed as a lover of this game to say that I only have, looking at the stats, 7 days and 7 hours, folks. And I actually should be ashamed of myself because I see people out there 30, 40, 50, 60 days. I'm like, I kind of feel like I'm getting to a point where I'm almost at the 30-hour mark for 30-day mark for Call of Duty. Like it's sick how much time I actually I said I'm sorry, 30. I'm closing it on 20 days at Call of Duty, which is, to me, that's crazy because I never played Call of Duty like that since the 360 days. But getting back to Starfield, I have 7 days, 7 hours, and now we're talking about it. I want to go back in. Like, I didn't do that Doom mission, and I hate myself every day that I didn't do it. And I don't know if it's still available. I think it is. If it is, I'm going to try and fight because you got the Doom outfit and everything. I want all of it. If you know if it's still, drop it in the chat and I'll shout you out. I don't know if it's still available, but I saw it. I was like, oh my God, I'm playing this, that, and the third, whatever. Hold on a sec. Let's see. Memecast guy, welcome as always, brother. He actually says this. This is regarding IGN. Again, I'm not going on a tirade or a rant, but I do want to. He makes a great point here. He says it's honestly so jacked that IGN straight up bought nearly every big game media website in existence. So shitty they ruined games media for me. And you see, this is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about because the same reviews editor, because we don't do names here, right? Because we don't need that kind of smoke, and I'm not trying to get anybody bullied or, get the tomatoes. If you want to throw tomatoes at me, fine. I'm never going to say throw tomatoes at such and such. But a certain reviews editor had a big problem with the ABK deal because of consolidation, but then this happens. And you're like, you're a hypocritical prick at that point, okay? And I'm telling you this right now, when the PlayStation 5 version does come out, it's going to get a 9 out of 10 from IGN, from the same reviews editor. And please mark this down on your calendar or clip me or whatever. We'll return to this conversation when Starfield releases. I think it's going to be later this year. That's here nor there. Silent Cypher, I want to bring us back into the story that comes the way, once again, of WindowsCentral.com, written by, of course, Brendan Lowry. Now, Mr. Lowry had a lot to say regarding how Starfield fans should be excited for 2025 based on a response from the maker, Bethesda. Let's get your thoughts. What are your expectations? Because, again, even though we don't talk about Starfield every show or even in the last couple of months, people are still discovering it. People are still playing it. People are still modding for it. And there is going to be apparently some big, big news coming the way of 2025. What are your expectations?
I was kind of expecting, because we had heard for a long time, and Fuzzy mentioned it too, but the whole idea of like this Starfield MMO, because there was constant information kind of coming out that, oh, that's a thing that's also in the works. So I don't know. I mean, it makes me wonder. Obviously, Starfield hasn't been out that long, so I don't know if you're necessarily seeing something separate off from the core Starfield experience at this point in time. Like, that's probably a few years down the road, if it's actually in existence. So that does make me start to wonder, well, what do you do in your current playground that you have, right? Like, you can flesh out some more of those stories and stuff. You can have more with House Varun. You can have quite a bit of content already just expounding on some of the characters and some of the storylines that fleshed out as you were playing through the game. But it does always get me excited because we see all these mod opportunities, and we know that sometimes the mods end up encouraging some of these devs to go back and revisit certain things and actually add more things. Like you mentioned, like the Doom mission. I haven't played that myself, but the idea that you've got something like that, or that you could land on a Doom planet, like land on a version of Mars where it's Doom. It's not Fuzzy's Mars where he's gone in and completely assassinated everyone and killed all the.
He sounds like my
Jedi.
brother, which is quite creepy. My brother assassinated everyone in his path. It was sick. I almost wanted to bring him, have him sit down in a chair with somebody.
Dude, I'm telling you, he was talking about that, and all I could think of was in Star Wars Episode 3, when all the little Jedi walk out and they're like, "What do we do, Annie?" And you just see Anakin's lightsaber go, "Shing." And you're just like, "Oh no!" Like this is that dark turn that we didn't expect. Fuzzy's doing some dirty work out there on Mars, but going back to topic, I like the idea of, maybe them baking some more things in to tie in some of their other IPs. Like the idea of landing on this offset Mars, that's that specific one that we run into in the Doom franchise, or running into a specific planet that is that whole like Elder Scrolls, Skyrim, Oblivion, all that type of stuff. They have a lot of content in just their existing IPs alone, that even if they weren't creating brand new storylines and IP or like ideas and stuff for this, they could just add details from some of their other games and stuff and make some really amazing places for you to go through for missions and or just the maps alone. So that's something I could maybe see them leaning on. I'm sure they've got a team that's making like new content for it, but I'm not gonna lie, I'd be a little bit of that. I'd be nerding out a little bit if I could land on one and suddenly have like all of the Doom planet, or just have some of those extra things from their existing IPs. I'll be interested to see where they go further with it. I think one thing that I would really like to see, and that I expect they probably will do, is making the ships a little bit better as far as like cargo and storing and customization. Because it's really good already, but there's a lot of things that they could do to just kind of improve the quality of life and give you more autonomy to just make this ship yours, right? So that would be really cool. I think that's something that they're probably doing. I would imagine we'll probably see a couple other vehicles come out over time too, since they've kind of, the genie's out of the bottle at this point. I would imagine they'll do some more vehicles.
I'd like a tank, personally.
Tank would be cool. Yeah. It's like, I think there's a place where it'd be great to have a few different vehicles that you could have something that's really fast but has very minimal armor and you can get impacted when you're driving it. Have like a tank so you can go into some really nefarious situations and just destroy everything. It'd be cool to have some more options, and I think that's probably what it'll be, is just a live quality of life, to either make some of the functions, maybe even just changing your weapons and kind of making that more fluid, to even just some more like weaponry, maybe some more character skins, just some stuff to make it feel like it's got a fresh coat of paint.
Well, I have a theory, folks. I need you to walk with me on this. And I haven't even said the words. Like I've said before, I'm getting goosebumps because this would be a dope ass story. Okay, so this year, Fallout Season 2 is happening, right? That's on the way, and that's going to be dope. The first season was freaking amazing, and it ended in a massive cliffhanger. And again, no spoilers here, folks, but if you are a fan of Obsidian's Fallout New Vegas, get ready. Okay? So here's my thought and my theory for an official release, not a mod, an actual official release from Bethesda. We know that when you go and you land on Earth, it's destroyed. It's decimated. There's nothing there. You can go see the Empire State Building. You can see a bunch of other monuments, And you can find if I haven't found them all, which pisses me off, but I'm gonna use one I'm using a guide. You find these little snow globes in every one of the areas. So here's my idea for the mission, in conjunction with the Fallout series. Now, again, this is no one has rang my bell. My LinkedIn has not been pinged for someone to bring me in as a writer, because I could write a dope ass story. And this is I'm giving away the farm, folks. I'm giving away $1 million idea. I'll get no credit for it. It's fine. But because Earth in its current form exists, just imagine a mission coming directly from Bethesda. It's officially done, right? It's they're making it. Then, not a mod. That your ship gets a ping or a distress signal from Earth. And one of those Earths is Vault XXX. You land on it, and it is the Fallout Vault that you have to now investigate. And of course, it's atypical story. You're in outer space, you get a distress signal, you go, and it's a complete cluster F, right? We know that's what's going to happen. But wouldn't it be dope if you get to this base and, like aliens, it's been taken over? What were the name of those creatures? The ones that are really hard to kill in Fallout.
Oh goodness.
Damn
I'm
it.
forgetting. You got the Mirelurks, the small ones, but I'm forgetting what the other ones are.
Well,
oh wait, no, Mirelurk was Elder Scrolls. Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Listen. At the end of the day, for this would be a great way to incorporate an IP, right? Deathclaw, Ardent, thank you very much. Shine Films also added it. Thanaros also jumped in there. Could you imagine if you get to this vault, right? Get to this Fallout on Earth, which of course that's where Fallout is, and they somehow make Fallout now canon to Starfield, and it's been freaking taken over by Deathclaws, and they have a nest in there, and you gotta, come on, folks. The nerdgasms, check your pants, folks. It's happening right live on the air. I mean, how would you not be able to handle yourself there? So yeah, man, that would be kind of dope. And I hope that they do that, because the one thing I've been saying for years, and we just saw it with Tony Hawk 3 and 4, folks, we're going to be able to ride a chainsaw board with Doom Guy. Like, what the? Are you kidding me? We need more of that in our lives, especially for Xbox gamers. They need more cross-pollination with their IPs. And I think that a Starfield connection with Fallout in the lead up to the show makes a lot of sense, because it gets people excited for Starfield, which is what's happening in 2025, and also gets people excited for the show coming out who play games. Now, we're all going to watch the show, but I mean, folks, this is easy marketing 101. So again, I know I gave away the $1 million idea. It's fine. It's fine. If it happens, at least you can be like, yeah, Boom actually said that. At least I'll get some credit there.